Welcome to the Empower Hour, where we take 1 hour out of your busy week schedule and we hash out some important, impactful information. We discuss it right here on air with your help, of course. So this week's topic of discussion is
hostility in Black relationships. Let's talk about it.
And I am Al Kumar.
And I'm Hanifa.
We are your hosts for the Empower Hour, and we are here with our trusted sidekick, Dr. Baruch.
Now I'm a sidekick. Hi.
He's going to be joining in on the conversation again this week because this topic of discussion, where me and Hanifa were trying to figure out who would be the best candidate that we both knew that could tackle this topic, he was the only one we could think of.
Wow.
So here we are again.
That says a lot about your friends.
Yeah, that's true. Gracing us with his presence once again for this important topic of discussion. We are at Everlasting Life Restaurant and Lounge, which is located inside of the, what is the name of the shopping center?
Kingdom.
Thank you. Kingdom Square Shopping Center, what used to be Hampton Mall. If you guys are familiar with the Prince George's County section of Maryland, right off of exit 15B, right inside the shopping center next door to Fitness for Less, you'll find us. Here we are inside of the Elife Media Studio, which we host a whole array of different shows that go on. The Empower Hour is just one, but there's several talk shows that go on throughout the week and day. So if you're interested in tuning into any more of those impactful shows, go on to elifemedia.net, or you can catch any of the previous shows on YouTube as well under the Elife Media Group channel. Everlasting Life is the main hub of 3 locations. So this is one, of course, and then there's 2 other restaurants. One is called Evolve and the other is Vigoritos, and they are both located in the Tacoma Park section of Washington, D.C. So you definitely want to go and check them out. Same great tasting food. They get a little bit more exciting over at Evolve sometimes because they do have a full bar there. So if that interests you, that'd be the place to be. Same great tasting vegan food. What we're going to do is we're going to swing back around after we get going into the discussion, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more later about some of the upcoming events we have going on here. All right. Whew. Miss Hanifa.
Hey, Alkama.
How you feeling this week?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yes.
Okay. You look nice.
Thank you.
I like the earrings.
Thank you.
Okay. What do you think about this topic of discussion?
Well, let's talk about why we wanted to even discuss it.
Yeah, because this was your idea.
All right.
Yeah. Was.
No.
I thought it was an excellent idea for a topic,
Yeah,
but
let's talk
but
about
Hanifa
why
was the one who suggested it.
Yeah, because I've kind of been in a lot of different conversations on both sides, I don't want to say sides, but both male and female, and oftentimes one of the complaints that you see, which one of our viewers have already touched on, he asked, why do Black women act so tender to their, he said their white boyfriends and hard to their Black ones. Voice all airy and light, yet growls at me. But what gave birth to this topic, or the decision to make this a topic, is you see why is it that we can interact with our co-workers, our bosses, and then we come home and we can't interact with the person that we've lived with for the past 5 years, peacefully, right? So I thought it would be good because in a lot of Black relationships, you see the hostility, you see the disrespect that's there. And again, this is a show where we talk about topics that we consider taboo, stuff that we don't want to tackle.
Right.
And this is one of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I agree. I thought when you mentioned it, I was like, yes, let's do it, because that is something that we suffer from. Another one of these, what seems to be many dilemmas that we find we suffer from in our communities. Mm-hmm. Dr. Baruch.
Yes.
What was your thought process when we came to you with the idea of just kind of being our liaison in the discussion about hostility in relationships?
Well, the first thing I thought about was the challenge that we have in our community primarily stems from an inability to coexist, an inability to comfortably interact with one another, where we obviously demonstrate the ability in other circles. We can show, like you said, we can show that we can communicate effectively with the boss. We can show that we can communicate effectively, when we're out shopping or doing whatever, when we're trying to buy something, or when we're impressing somebody, or maybe when we're interacting with people from another race. Mm-hmm. So we demonstrate that the ability is there. I think the biggest thing that came to mind when you brought it to my attention was, if we felt better about self, we would feel better about interacting with people that remind us of self. Mm-hmm. But because we feel not good about self, then and those feelings are I guess fertilized, if you will. They're fertilized by the media. They're fertilized by our communication with other people. Even it's fertilized by what we see on the TV screen as well as the big screen, and it's fertilized by social media, of course, and by music. Mm-hmm. So all of that gets supported, and we find ourselves having justification for it, because all we need to do is see evidence of something that we saw on television or heard on the radio, and we're like, yep, I got him. I know he's doing exactly what they was talking about. Boom. Right. And sometimes we don't even make that reference. Right. We'll just know that there's something that makes us think that, he ain't doing right. Mm-hmm. He a typical so-and-so, or she's a whatever. And we find ourselves not being able to get along, And this is 50 years away from us being a very, very, very tight community. I know, very tight. Like, when strangers walked in our neighborhood, we were on the phone. Do you know him? No, I don't know him. Well, you keep an eye on him.
That's right.
And we were tight, and when you were married to somebody, or when you were in a relationship with somebody, the whole community knew that you were in a relationship, or knew that you were married, and supported and protected that relationship. Hey, Slim, I don't like the way you're talking to homeboy's wife. Because something's wrong with that, that you're not respecting his space. That's his space. He's expecting you to respect his space, And I think we've gotten away from that. And now those of us who are in our community have become, in some instances, the predators, because that's what we get, that's what we get the pat on the back for. Saying, you slept with so-and-so's wife?
I was going to say that too. I think it's a part of it is the way the genders are also socialized, not just in the society, but within the culture. Mm-hmm, you socialize your boys a certain way, you socialize your girls a certain way, then they try to come together and have these relationships, and it presents a great barrier or great difficulty in how successful that relationship ends up being. We can look at the way we're socialized as one of the factors that contributes to that hostility that we often see. But like Dr. Baruch was saying, you're a predator, but you're getting the pat on the back for being a predator simply because of your gender, by the way. Mm. Because the female predators, or I don't know if you even use that word to describe a female that does what Dr. Baruch is describing, gets no pat on the back. No pat on the back. That's socialization. That's the way that our expectations are different for each. Right. But that's a moral issue. But we don't even see it as that.
Yeah, what comes to mind for me is like recently I heard somebody put out a shout of what's your favorite movie, and I noticed that so many people was saying Scarface, and it's interesting how a movie like that can be people can look at and see it as a favorite of theirs, although a lot of it, what they presented in that movie was a demoralizing lifestyle. Right. So in that certain perspective, we can go down a list of movies that a lot of us look at with pride. And it's really, subconsciously,
you have to ask, why is that your favorite movie?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, for instance, no examples of successful relationships.
Right. Yeah. Well, we don't have those in our community. Nobody's presenting to us an example. As a matter of fact, I remember when I was dating at that time. It was very early on in my relationship with what was going to be my wife. And I remember a guy seeing me in college, and he said, "Man, don't you get tired of the same old cheeseburger?" And I was like, "I don't get it. What you talking about?" And he said, "Don't you get tired of coming home to the same woman every single day?
Like something's wrong with you.
Don't you know that variety is the spice of life?" you should be out here, man. You're the big man on campus. You could have any. And I was like, no, man, that doesn't interest me, because my family didn't raise me to be a player. My family raised me to perpetuate the ideals and the future of the family. And I thought the best way for me to do that is to find somebody who I could lock in with, who I could build with and grow with. And that is a big part of what I think we suffer from, is nobody is raising up our young sons to be husbands, to further the family, to continue to build on the legacy of whatever it is that our great-grandparents had established, grandparents, father, mother established. We're not building on that.
Because our children model what we do.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the one-sidedness I was talking about as far as how we raise the kids. Because on one end, like you'll have young girls whose mom says, you need to know how to cook. You're not going to be able to keep a man. People are still saying this to the young girls. But we're not having a conversation with our boys.
Right.
Around how you treat women and so forth. You get what I'm saying?
Good
and
point.
then you go back to we're raising boys in single-parent households, right? So they're mostly by women now.
Right.
Okay? Who is teaching them?
Right.
Who is teaching them?
Right.
Who are they looking up to? And then the
Right.
men, because kids are having kids. That's another part of it too. People are having kids younger, and not younger where there's a male and female. Younger where it's a teen mom, like a single parent, 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean? So the men around that child is how old you think, around the same age, and they have that player mentality. So that boy is watching those young adults that are
Right.
males around him too. It's like a whole lot of factors that's contributing to it.
Yeah. So as far as hostility is concerned,
Sure.
which is the subject of our discussion today. So how does those things you just both described factor into the hostile environment a lot of our relationships find themselves in?
Well, because our relationships in our community are now predatory. The rule is predatory as opposed to, let's come together and build, then that itself, you see a predator and a prey, there's hostility immediately.
Absolutely.
And what has happened over the course of the last 10, 15 years is women have decided, oh, okay, I'm tired of being the prey.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be a predator
Yeah.
now. And you find women are now taking on the same characteristics that men have taken on, and they're out there and giving each other high five. You did that?
Yep.
That's what's up. Girl, you the man.
That's very true, Dr. Baruch. Very true.
Like, for instance, give me an example.
It's like what he's describing. It's a form of survival, like for women. They're like, I'm tired of being chewed up and spit out. So now I'm gonna take on the personality, the characteristics of these predators who are males.
Okay.
And so you see women doing the same thing. For example, Dr. Baruch is saying like a guy, the player. We know when we say a player, we all have a picture in our mind, okay? So a female who we would say will fall in that category, she's not making any emotional connections, which we know is a rarity with women. We connect emotionally,
Yes, right.
specifically when sex is involved.
Yes.
Now you have females now that can have sex and walk away with no emotional attachment, none whatsoever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just one example where and could come home and say, yeah, he flying me out to Paris tomorrow, but I'm gonna go have dinner with such and such tomorrow, and you're having a conversation, and it's a glorious thing.
Wow.
Because we feel like finally we getting one up.
Right. Now, what about the whole opposite end of that emotional spectrum, where a woman will be so emotional to where she'll get so upset she'll flatten all 4 tires of his car?
That's the hostility
she'll
we're talking
bust,
about.
the windows out, or or burn or cut his clothes or something to that effect.
Right.
Is that hostile?
No, that's waiting to exhale.
They're tired. She's tired. But trust me, when she busts his window out and his tires, that hostility, that aggression, it wasn't just birthed from that interaction with him.
Right.
It was building.
Yeah.
He just got it. She had already imploded. He just got it when now we're seeing her explode, right? But he just happened to be there at that time and the person she's dealing with. But it's been building.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what adds to that? I would imagine a stressful lifestyle. So stresses on the job and.
Well, you got as an African American woman and man, our stress levels are higher than everybody else. Like, we're probably the only race family. You can't imagine that the Chinese people were looking at this footage of what took place down in Texas and saying, oh my God, I hope he's not Chinese. I hope he's not Chinese. Oh my goodness. But we over there like, oh my God, what is this going to mean? And I'm sitting up there on the road. When I'm hearing this, I'm on the road to Jersey. And I'm looking at like, oh man, if this is a black dude. And one guy posted, he said, yeah, I saw the guy, he had an afro. I was like, Here I go. So those hostilities, yes, they are worsened by stress because you're more inclined to have that flight or fight mentality. Like, I always got to be ready to fight.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, and I made comment to the people that I interacted with while I was there in New Jersey. I said, it's really interesting to interact with people where my expectation was that we was just going to be cold chilly. We were going to take care of business. I was going to give you what I needed to give you. You was going to give me what I needed to give me. You give me, and we're going to move on. But they were so warm. I mean, it was really, it was really comforting.
Inviting.
It might not have even been real.
Yeah.
But for that moment, I was able to like, oh, okay. Now they got what they wanted out of me,
Right.
which it was business, so it was cool. But I did too, and I think it's important for us to understand the stress level is very high amongst us. There's a competition. We not only do we have a stress that's coming from external, but we have a stress coming from within ourselves. Because when we get into a relationship, brother, are you man enough? Oh Lord. Now I got to be man enough. Or can you hang? Can you put it down? And those things, a woman may say that and not understand the impact that that's going to have on a man. Because then when a man puts it down, yeah, now what you got to say? And that hostility
Right.
plays out many times in the bedroom where, you've got these individuals that are competing rather than coming together and creating something beautiful.
That's what I was going to say. I think a part of the hostility in relationships that we see oftentimes is there's a competitiveness that shouldn't even exist
Right.
in that interaction.
Right.
That's a part of it as well, where you have a male coming in. It becomes like this conquest.
Yep.
Everyone is trying to conquer the other person. And I also think also with a lot of our relationships where we see hostility happening, a lot of it is our own unresolved issues within our own selves that we're bringing into relationships, right? And so we think we're ready because oftentimes women, for example, we have this check-off list, right? We have the career, we have the house, if we do, we have the finances, we have this check-off list. Men have it. Some men have it too. So you feel because all of those things are checked off, now you're a whole individual, right? So you get into this relationship and you're not whole, right? And you're dealing with someone who is not whole. None of y'all really know self. You know what I mean? And so now you come in
Or
there
there wouldn't be so much hostility.
Exactly. You come in there now and this person becomes almost your possession.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it that at least for me, in my growing, I've learned is that we equate love with possessing people.
Yeah.
And so when they don't meet our expectations,
Yes, good point.
then we get hostile.
Right.
Then we get upset because
Right.
you're not doing what I've placed you here or allowed you to occupy this space to do.
Good teaching.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then we as females, black females specifically, we already feel like there's a shortage on good men. Right?
So we accept a lot of things that we may not.
But we also go in and we I'm going to speak from a female perspective because that's what I am, right? I think we go in and it's like we have an idea of what we want our partner to be, and this adds to the hostility. That person comes in and we realize the clay is not as malleable as we would like it to be. And so now we're in our feelings, okay? And then that now adds the stress onto this guy. And his response to that is not going to be a good one because you're not allowing him to be himself.
Yes. So they go into this I'm going to fix him mode. I'm going to mold him and shape him into what I want him
Women are good for that. We are
be.
good for it. Yes.
Yeah. And when I think it was you who mentioned conquest, we get into this position of conquering each other. And I'm thinking, well, if you're in that state of mind in a relationship, where's the vulnerability? Where is the letting your guards down and allowing, you know what I'm saying, to be explored and to explore? How do you do that if you're in a mind state of I'm going, he going to do this for me and I'm going to make sure he do that, and if he don't, I'm going to be mad about it and I'm going to show him. How do you be vulnerable if you're in a state of trying to conquer.
Most of our issues that happen in relationships happen before we even enter the relationships. They're our own conflicts that we have within. They're our own misconceptions of the other gender. You know, this is what a man. I hate that, by the way. This is what a man is supposed to do. We have the blueprint, by the way. Women have the blueprint and what a man is supposed to be and what he's supposed to look like. But all men are not wired the same.
Right.
All men don't have same cultural experiences. They don't have same family experiences. So for you to come in with this blueprint, where you getting that blueprint from? That's what we have to touch on too.
Where is that blueprint coming from? You know what I'm going to say.
After you've been with the multiplicity of women or multiplicity of men, right? Then all of a sudden that blueprint becomes, I want her to have the money that Mary had. I want her to have the body that Betty had. I want her to have the emotional stability that, you know, Erica had.
Like Bill the Bear.
So all of a sudden now it's like, well, this ain't gonna work because, you know, you got most of it, but if you only, you know, let me tell you about my friend named Erica. Erica was so cool. She would never argue with me. She would never do this. So you impose all of this on an individual and try to cause them to see that, oh, you mean that's what I need to do in order to make you happy? Yeah, you got it. Now you got it. And that's conflict. That creates an internal conflict because then all you need to do is now try to do that for that individual and find that that individual doesn't do what you want them to do for you. And it's like, oh, no, you did what? And you couldn't call me? Oh, but you got me doing all these things and I'm doing all this for you because I care about you and I want this to work.
Right.
And now you flipping out and you doing something different?
Right.
Nah, I ain't about to go there with you.
And what happens is that we attempt, and I find women do this a lot, we attempt to mold and shape ourselves to the man, to what he wants us to be.
Because we really want him.
Right.
Yes.
But then we lose ourselves in that process. How do you mold, how do you be what somebody else wants you to be if it's not who you are?
You just touched on something very important, and I have come to realize this, and I always tell females this: when you are going into a relationship and you have a deficit, and that person is filling that, okay, you need them specifically for that reason. What happens when you heal? That person becomes of no more use to you.
That's right.
So this is why we can't choose our partners based on the deficits that we have within ourselves. This is why we have to deal with those issues first. And that's what I said, a lot of the issues that come up in how we relate to each other, male-female dynamics in relationship, happens outside of that relationship.
Right.
We bring it into relationships. We bring a lot of baggage into
both
sides, a lot of baggage into relationships. One of the things that I realized too, and I was thinking about this morning, men's ability to compartmentalize. I know a lot of men who compartmentalize their lives. And it took me a minute to get this because I would meet guys and be like, how can you do this, have this going on and still have that going on?
Right.
And I realized the compartmentalization that happens is you have this in this room. When you're finished with it, you come out the room, you close the door. You go to a next room. The rooms does not connect for them.
Right.
Most women, the way we live our lives, we live it as an open floor plan.
Right.
Everything in it is connected.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Now,
Correct.
have I met women, and this is what Dr. Baruch touched on, have I met women who have learned from whatever their experiences were in life, how to compartmentalize? Yes, they're there. And most of them who have learned it and have mastered it, it was a survival mechanism. It's from them probably seeing their dad doing some grimy stuff. And so for them, it's like, I'm going to stay 2 steps ahead of men always. So they've learned how to do that. Or experiences like Dr. Baruch said, where you take on that characteristic. Because it's a survival thing. I'm tired of being the prey. You know what I mean? So that compartmentalization piece too adds, I think, to the hostility in how women and men relate. Because women, open for a plan. Man, he's like, you still talking about that?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I let that go like 2 weeks ago.
So you're saying like bringing up past hurts and things of that nature.
Yes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
That's
Don't
a
you
big
love
one.
that?
Yes.
Don't you love when you're in the middle of a discussion, argument, you know, and somebody brings up something from like 2 years ago and then 6 months ago and then 8 months ago, and it's like, whoa. What are we arguing about this? Or we just arguing, we're going to put everything into this argument so that I'm guaranteed to lose because I already gave in on those other 3. And now you're trying to get me to, you know, give in just because I gave in and I was wrong on those other 3 instances. And that's tough. And we need to be careful how much we hold on. I'm going to give you some advice that has worked for me. Maybe not. But anyway, I'm going to give you some advice that I found to be, it has helped me out a lot. And that is, there's one word, and the one word is amnesia. I forget. I forgot you treated me like a whatever, a year ago, 6 months ago, yesterday. I forget.
Yeah.
So that I can give myself a clean slate, give this situation a clean slate and an opportunity to do what it needs to do today, starting today.
Now, do you forgive or do you forget?
I forget.
Okay.
I forget. Now,
All
the
right.
forgiving part, because if you did me wrong, I might not be as inclined to just out and
depends on what it
forgive.
is.
Yeah, it depends. But I will forgive and forget.
Okay.
But I think the big deal in this is if I forget, I don't even remember what I needed to forgive you for. So
You know what I think, and I like that. I appreciate you sharing that. I think one of the solutions for me to with that would be to communicate about what that dilemma is, and then agree to squash it. So if both parties, because obviously it's still boiling in one person if they keep bringing it up over and over and over again. So I think that should then be discussed. Okay, now this is evidently it's an issue for you. Let's hash it out. And once we hash it out, we are agreeing right here, right now, that we're going to leave this alone from here on out. I think when we communication piece.
What happens if we don't?
it doesn't happen. It always comes.
That's what I was going to say, because so what is the consequence of someone bringing it up again?
Well, the communication was a barrier. There was a barrier there.
Well, it's not just communication. It's your commitment to what you say you're going to do. So if you commit to,
Right.
I'm not bringing this up again. We're done with
Right.
it. I admit that there's a problem, but we fixed it. We're on the same page. Let's shake and agree.
Right.
Boom, it's done. And then tomorrow's like, see, that's what I'm talking about. But if the same behavior presents itself again, which warrants you to bring up the fact that I'm seeing a pattern of behavior here, then you can't just totally forget completely, unless you're crazy like me. Then you have to begin to see, okay, you know what, I see you've done this 10 times in the last 12 days. Obviously something has gone wrong, and either we need to discuss it or we need to discuss how we gonna do our thing elsewhere.
And just agreeing to move on from an issue doesn't mean it's resolved. And I think that's the key. We have to make sure that we're actually resolving the stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So how does it resolve then if the communication, how do you resolve it then? If you're not communicating about it.
I can say, like, okay, so I'm a person, I get over things very easily, right? So if I'm in a relationship with someone, I have to be careful of that, because it could be something that happened between us and it's taking them longer to get over it. And I personally, it frustrates me when people just take a long time to get over things. It does. Because I let go of things like this.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that I don't get to dictate or to tell you how long it should take you.
Yeah.
Now, if this is years later, then we have a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's actually you taking that long to me to let go of stuff is something that's beyond what happened.
I agree.
It's something deeper than what happened
I
between
agree with
us.
that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we need to realize sometimes things happen in relationship that are what we say in psychology are triggers
Right.
for other things to come up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in other words, you did something that reminded me of my father.
Right. The whole fact that some of us take longer to get over certain things than others is past life experiences. That plays a role. So
sometimes it's just the inability. We just haven't learned the tools. We don't have the tool in our tool belt to figure out how to get past this. So we just stay in there, and we
based on past life experiences,
and we find comfort in that space. Well,
if you never taught yourself to do that,
right.
then it's been your experience to hang on to things.
Which brings up another thing is that in the female-male in relationships, how we resolve conflict in front of our kids is how they learn to resolve conflict.
Sure.
Good point. I'm glad you brought the
But
children
also,
up.
with regard to a conflict, sometimes a conflict can be used as like a commodity. Don't let me have to bring up that situation we had. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, all right.
Because you don't want to go there.
Yeah, you don't let me bring that up. And all of a sudden it becomes like a little, you got this little bank account. Yeah, you got this little bank account. It's like, oh, we ain't finished dealing with that situation.
Sometimes, how people just flash their weapon?
Right.
You just have to pull up your shirt.
Right.
All right now.
Right, that's it.
Well, guys, if you're just joining us, our discussion today is on hostility in our relationships. What is the cause of them? What can we do to solve so much of the hostility? We're going to take this moment before we go to the audience, because we definitely want to get their input into the discussion. We're going to share with you guys briefly some upcoming events that's going on here at the restaurant and around the city. So, look, we have a new event here at Everlasting Life. Again, we're at 9185 Central Avenue. And if you're joining us on elifemedia.net, you will see all the flyers that go up on the screen. Children's Night at Everlasting Life. That's each and every Thursday. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, each and every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Bring the children out. Chris Murray, which is a staple, beautiful sister here, does a lot of work alongside Dr. Baruch. She hosts this event, and every week she usually has a different special guest. Last week she had a child actor woman, so a woman that come and teach acting to children. So, and that was fun. They had a good time. So, and the children eat free. So all the children eat free. Again, that's Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Keep us in mind for that with the children. Next up, this Saturday.
Sunday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Skipping. This Sunday, we have a pop-up culture shop. That's also new at Evolve Restaurant and Lounge, 341 Cedar Street Northwest. That's each and every Sunday, first Sundays of the month from 12 to 5 p.m. Go out there and check out what they have in store for you guys. A lot of the different pop-up shops will be there. This Saturday, each and every first Saturday of the month, we have our new Black Wall Street Renaissance. It used to be the Solstice Shopping Bazaar. We have changed the name and upgraded some things, and it's now the Black Wall Street Renaissance. All-day shopping from 12 to 6 p.m. Come on out, enjoy what the vendors have to offer you. We're also doing a healing class with crystal stones. So if you were ever curious about what kind of stones work with what type of healing for the body, the names of the stones, what they look like, what parts of the body you should wear them on, etc., come on out. We got you covered, and it's all free. We have two classes. One goes on at 2 p.m., the other is at 4 p.m., and that's this Saturday right here at the Black Wall Street Renaissance. Next up is, let's see. Oh, the dinner and a movie. Hey.
Technical challenges over here.
Each and every Friday night, right here again at Everlasting Life, we do what's called a dinner and a movie, where we take a documentary, we air it. It starts at 7 p.m. We air the documentary, and right after follows a group discussion. Very impactful. I host that event myself for most Fridays, and I love the discussion part of whatever we talk about, because there's so many brilliant minds out here in our community. And we get to talking about different things, and we hash out different ideas, and people come with ideas I've never considered before. It's very thoughtful and impactful. So again, dinner and a movie each and every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. This Friday we'll be airing Cowspiracy. You guys want to come get this information. It's so much information out here that we need to know, because it affects our lives and our children's lives, that we don't have privy to the information, and then we suffer because of it, because we come down with ailments. We suffer through life, and where we don't have to if we just had the information at our disposal. So this movie is one of those movies that you want to come get this information. So come on and join us for that. And Deja Vu Thursdays at Evolve Restaurant and Lounge. Back at Cedar Street Northwest. Thursdays from 5 to 9. It's buy one, get one free real cocktails. You can go there for that. Lovely Dr. Baruch is usually there on those days. So if you want to go and, mix and mingle it up with him, that's a good time to go there at Evolve Restaurant and Lounge. I also, we got more? Okay.
Oh, no, the drive? No, that's fast.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I just want to make mention, my brother in the struggle, Malik Zulu Shabazz, who I affectionately call Zulu Warrior, he is putting on a Black Men's Convention. He's doing a 10,000 Black Men's March, Saturday, October the 7th, starting at 11 o'clock in Southeast D.C. by the Big Chair. So if you are a brother and you want to link arms with other strong men out there that's looking and that are actively working to change the dynamics in our community, you want to be there for that. It's a call for our men and youth to stand up. This Thursday, tomorrow actually, they're going to be at I'm sorry guys, what's the name of the place over at Northeast? It's my ancestor, which is a shame because I can't never remember the name. Thurgood Marshall.
Oh.
At the Thurgood Marshall Center tomorrow, they're going to be there doing like a advanced pep rally. So you want to go there. I think it's between 6 and 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So we are back into the swing of things. We're going to get some, hear what the community has to say about this topic of discussion, which is hostility in our relationships.
Well, our sister Wasita, hi Wasita.
Hey.
Always so supportive. She said, it's hard to let your guard down when you've been deceived so many times before. And the older you are, the harder it becomes. And I agree with that. Sort of what Dr. Baruch was touching on too, where you see you take on the characteristics of those who have hurt you.
So you become kind of hardened, so to speak.
Yeah.
Wow.
But isn't that it's interesting because that's kind of similar to what we talk about when we talk about Black folks with a Eurocentric mindset, how we've taken on the characteristic of our oppressors. We talk about that all the time.
Yes.
It's the same thing. So you see it as, this person, men have been doing this all this time to us. This is how women, which is a victim mindset, by the way. So I'm not responsible for my actions. Truly, they are. The men who have done this to me are. So blame them, not me. So you don't even take personal responsibility.
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
Yeah.
As to why, you keep attracting these same characteristics in a man.
The phone is ringing.
Yeah. Interesting.
So can we talk about some of the things? And so we have a caller. We'll get to, but I wanted to. Let's see what else. Or Ellis, he said, please read my comment. I know it's long, but I would like to hear your opinion. I looked for your comment, sir, and I didn't see it.
Copy and paste it again.
Yeah. And there was someone, Akila.
Hey, Akila.
She was saying, if that be true, the matter was never resolved if it's coming up again. Clear resolution helps both sides to move forward, and truth and honesty. Again, compartmentalizing occurs and easily moved on. The matter has not been resolved 5 to 10 years later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a long time.
Oh my. That's like the tit for tat. So what happens to the children in a situation where the parents are hostile towards each other a lot?
I think one of the things that happens is the children take sides. They take sides, and they also become opinionated about why so-and-so did so-and-so, and it's very easy for an adult to get the child's attention or to swing the child's attention because, come on, girl, let's go get some of that lemon meringue pie you like. And it's like a child starts making decisions based on, okay, you treat me better, so I'm going to side with your decision, And you make those decisions based on maybe some tangibles that you can't get it otherwise, so, I better side with this situation. And I mean, there are other outcomes. Another outcome is, well, I don't expect to get along with a woman because I saw my mother and father not get along, so I'm not expecting to get along.
Yes.
Or maybe even I don't even want to deal with a woman, period. Maybe because my father was such a good guy, and whatever. I'm going to decide to deal with just men. As a young man, you might make that decision because of the pressures of the media, the pressures of what's going on and being taught to us in school, because now things are being taught to us in school that weren't taught when I was in school.
Right.
And now your home reality is like, oh man, this just seems to be the right thing to do based on what I'm dealing with, So I'm not even going to I don't even want to introduce that energy into my space as I grow up. I'm going to go with this situation.
And projection is a real thing, which is sort of what you touched on, where you start to project your stuff onto that person. This is what all men are like,
Right.
or this is what all women are like, because
Right.
from your own experience or your observations, you feel like you got woman down pat.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and I think we take a lot of our cues from that media. We take a lot of our cues. We sit in front of that TV day in and day out and watch destructive relationships play out in front of us.
Yeah.
What in our rightful, and we never had anything to counter that.
absolutely.
Growing up, then we're getting what we need to move forward in a healthy, wholesome relationship. It's not there. It's
agree.
not there.
I agree. Are
So
we taking a
I think that media really plays an impactful role,
Okay, we
even
have
in our day-to-day relationships.
we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi, caller. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Maryland. My name is Valerie.
Oh,
Hi,
hi,
Valerie.
Valerie. Thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Well, what I wanted to say is there's so many women like you two ladies who are so very professional. And it seems as though men are a little upset because we women get all the advantages. And I think they think that they're not good enough, and I believe that's part of the resentfulness.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I get it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that's what I think, and I've experienced with men. They always ask, what do I do? And then when I share with them what I do, I can just feel them shrink back.
Interesting. I'm so glad she brought that up. Thank you for bringing that point up because it's very important. Yeah.
I actually did not know that was an issue until in my 30s. And I think, I think a part of it is that I've never really dated until now in my 30s.
Okay.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So now that I'm actually trying to date, I am running into that. When
Having
she's
this
talking, it's a real
experience.
thing,
What
which
is-
I didn't think it was.
Yeah. From a male's perspective, Doc, what's your thoughts?
Well, I like Hanifa. I didn't really date because I found the woman that I married and had 4 children by when I was 17. So I went from 17 to like 38, I believe. 38 with the same woman.
And y'all built together. Y'all
We
built
built
up
together.
together.
Blessing.
And we're still building. I got a text message this morning. Can you lend me some money? Yeah, but I'm cool with that. I
Yeah,
felt good. I
yeah.
was like, yeah, I want to help you. I want you to be. You're my children's mother.
Exactly.
Even though we're not together,
That's
Yep.
right.
you're my children's mother. I want to help you
right.
be successful because
That's right.
that'll be good for the whole.
Good teaching.
And but I do understand, the impact that could have on somebody. I have never fit into the category of a male who wasn't really kind of bringing his part to the relationship.
Right.
I most times was the one who brought more to the relationship. If you want to think about, experiences, intellectual capacity, financial, capability, all of those things. I find that it has been the case that I bring more, and that's not because I target women who have less. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. But I find that I bring more. So I never have the challenge of, oh my goodness, you're intimidating. But I can go back to when I was very young and I would go to parties. I was always inspired by the best in the room. If I was at a party, I was like, no, no, there's no need. Everybody else, it doesn't matter. I'm going after that. And unfortunately, I was going after the best looking, or the best dancing or whatever. But I think it's, so I guess my upbringing was different. And I remember my mother telling me one day when I was, she found me kind of getting a little bit too loose with my interaction with women. She said, don't forget, that you're the prize. Because if you keep pursuing after them like they're the prize, you're going to devalue yourself. So you have to remember that you're the prize. They're out to get you, which ruins a lot of women's pursuit after me. Because at some point I do look in the mirror and I say, wait a minute. I forgot. I thought I was chasing you, but really, it's really the other way around. And I know that's not really the way it is. I don't want to think that a woman is chasing after me, but it at least allowed me to shield and protect myself from a lot of situations that I would have fallen victim to, because I'd have been pursuing after everything that looked good, smelled good, tasted good, felt good, or whatever. And I was able to avoid that whole rat race and target in on something that I think could help me. And of course, I had those however many 21 years with one woman. I had those 21 years in that one situation that I didn't have to go through that storm that everybody else was going through.
Yeah.
Wow. So that would be interesting for the audience too to chime in on. If you guys have any responses to that question, Valerie, that comment Valerie mentioned, we'd love to hear about that.
Right. I don't even know if it's not, but it's just, I don't even necessarily know if it's just, she used the word resentment. I'm not sure it's resentment. I think it's self-hate. In the sense of he has not figured out how to love himself because he's not where he think he should be.
Right.
And then that now is now projected onto you. It's like, when we talked about the light skin versus dark skin, the colorism in our community, you have a lot of light skinned sisters that say, people always say, I think I'm better than them. Right? And you're thinking, how?
Right.
What did I do?
Right.
But no, you think they're better than you. And you're projected. And so that's what she's talking about. It's not resentment. It's really, not really feeling that value and that worth within yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anytime, but by the way, which can end up coming off abusive, which could then lead to domestic violence. Like a lot of things are introduced because you're jealous of the person you're with. It becomes a competition.
Yeah, because when listening to you talk, I'm thinking your mom, was it your mother or grandmother told you that?
Well, both of them at various times put things in me that I'll never forget. I'll share with you what my grandmother.
Well, I wanted to make a point as what you were saying. I think your mother said when she said you're the prize. So what she was instilling in you was confidence for yourself. So when I'm hearing Valerie talk, and the brothers ask her, what she makes or what she does for a living, and they shrink. Well, where's your own confidence? Again, going back to accepting and owning the responsibility. That woman done what she did in her life. You can't be mad at her for that.
But not only that, sometimes women like her are willing to work with men like that. Because they see the potential in them. But because you're shrinking, you can't see that. You're blinded by your own insecurities.
I agree with that.
And what happens is end up, by the way, you end up sabotaging.
That's right.
You end up sabotaging that relationship because
true.
you don't want to face you know that there's a chance. Specifically, if that's a woman out in the world and you're looking around and you're seeing the men she surrounds herself with. These could be co-workers, friends. You see the other woman she surrounds herself with, and you're threatened by that because you're saying she can choose anyone else. Why did she choose me?
Right.
And you allow that to consume your thinking daily.
It's a turn off.
It's a turn off, but you will sabotage that relationship.
Yeah, because that's your confidence level is low, and if you matching with a woman who has high confidence and you have low, that's an unequal yoke to begin with.
Right. Well, I think if you don't have an agenda. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a vision for yourself, because I can imagine if a woman came to me who's making, twice the money I'm making, who's got twice the stuff, who has twice the intelligence, I'm like, we're about to work this out.
Right.
Because I got something that I'm building towards.
Right.
But if all I got is, well, you got all of that, but when I bid you down, I'm going to make you humble. I'm going to make you humble yourself to me so that at least there'll be some area where I am I'm the man.
That's that bravado.
So if you're able to build with an individual, it doesn't matter where they are. They could be light years away from you, but you're like, okay, look, I see how we can work this thing out. And you see those things play out. Sometimes. And sometimes it seems a little different because maybe the woman is established and then the guy's coming along, he's got his landscaping business. And here it is, you an IT professional making hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. And it's like, now all of a sudden your landscaping business has got an IT component, so now people can communicate with you and whatever. You know, that's where you begin to talk about building.
Yeah.
And you can build most times you can build with anybody.
Absolutely.
Unless they're self-destructive or have the sabotage, you know,
Right.
virus.
Yeah.
You know, but I think for me, I would be inspired and I would look forward to that type of relationship where I say, okay, but as long as it's not one of those, you know, independent, as long as they're going to work with me. If they're not going to work with me, it doesn't matter where they fit in the spectrum.
That's what I was going to say. I think as someone who see beauty in almost anything, me, myself, I have to be careful and protect myself from the people that you just described, the type of guys that you don't really want to, you just want to play.
That's right.
You just want to play. You don't really want to build.
Right.
So, because if you want to build, you won't even be caring about where I'm at.
Right.
You can look and see, well, she's interested in me and she wants to build, so let me,
Right.
strap up my bootstrap. So, but me, a person who always sees good in like anyone, I don't care who you are, right? I feel like everyone has some sort of good in them somewhere or can contribute to your life somehow. There's something to be learned from that person.
Right.
So I got to be careful and protect my space
Right.
from those type of individuals because, you know, not every woman who is like either has herself together or getting herself together is snobby.
Right. Right.
You know, it's snobby or condescending or, you know, or
Right.
even necessarily looking for someone that makes way more than her.
Right.
Sometimes they're looking for deeper things than just money
Right.
because she can take care of herself.
Exactly. Good point.
I had, and I think that's an internal conflict that a woman or a man has going on inside of them. But I had two instances, and I'll bring them both up. I think maybe one of them, maybe not. But anyway, one woman said to me, "Well, if you're not making six figures, then there's really no need in us talking."
Wow.
And she was not even attractive to me, but it was so easy.
Did she bat an eye?
She didn't bat an eye. She was like, if you're not making at least six figures, and then her question after that was like, so where do you fit? I said,
Wow.
I don't.
fit in that. I don't
That's
fit in
so
that at all.
shallow.
And she then had to kind of backpedal. Well, you know, I can work with you. I said, no, baby,
Too
you
late.
terminated that. It is over. It is done.
I'd
And
rather her
then-
say it
Very
than don't
shallow.
say it though.
But well,
Yeah, that's good that she's.
yeah.
Well,
But
for his sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, there was another one where there was a physical property that this woman required, and I was like, oh, baby, I'm not working with that. And she's like, oh, well, you know, and in both instances,
Right.
I found them both, you know, I think they were trying to impress me, but it just gave me a door. You know, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm good, because if that matters to you, and I was capable of filling that, you know, order, I'm not even interested, you know, because we're just meeting each other, and you know, we're having a conversation, and one of the introductory conversations, you come with that. I was like, okay, well, you keep looking for that. You know,
Yeah.
I wish you the best.
But Dr. Baruch and Alkama, do you guys think, because you talked about being able to, the hostility in relationships, right? We're talking about what contributes to that. And I know earlier we had talked about how we try to change each other, mostly females. It comes from the females. So a female comes into a situation where she's just like, you know, I could change him up a little bit. And she go in, and let's say it's the job situation, landscaping, you give the example, and he's comfortable where he's at. So now they're 2 years in, and she realized this brother ain't really trying to progress,
Right.
you know, and now she's frustrated, right? Because she had some expectations that are now unmet.
Yeah.
You know, so even with that in going in and saying, you know, we can grow, you can get into it and realize that this person isn't, which adds to hostility, because now every little thing, you want me to cook for you?
I think that that scenario is why it's so important to become friends first.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think it's so important to be, you know, get to know each other on a platonic level first. And then you can see those signs before you even decide to go down that road.
Right.
But a lot of us, we don't. We jump right in the bed first, right into the bed. Sometimes we don't even need to know his last name. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you cute. You like me? Oh, okay. Yeah, you free tonight? Let's get it on.
Yep.
And, you know, and we do that. And we don't know who they are.
I think everything that we're talking about is a conflict. From the, you know, when I talked about the two scenarios of the women who told me what their expectation, that represented a conflict. And the conflict was, she was trying to let me know, okay, this is the wall that you're going to have to climb, young man. You know, if you want to be here, and that's a conflict, you know. Now I got this wall I've got to climb. And every time I'm in her space, and we're in any of these two arenas, I've got to figure out how to climb this wall, and that's a conflict. So now, at the end of the day, I'm feeling less than. And I'm feeling challenged in a way that I shouldn't be feeling challenged. I should be feeling supported, and I should be wanting to support her. But instead, I'm challenged. And I think all of these scenarios, as you all have listed out, all of them represent first an internal challenge, and then the external presentation of that challenge as it reflects or as it shows itself in a relationship environment. And we're not going to achieve the level of success in that relationship. I think one of the things that we might need to consider, just as you said about being friends, I wonder whether it might not be a good idea to treat relationships like you would a business relationship. That you interview. So you're interviewing. Okay, I got some questions
Some
for
cultures
you.
do it all day, every day.
And you go through an interview, you scored pretty high, and I think it's worthwhile for us to have a second interview. And, you have this second interview, and all of a sudden now you have an agenda. You've got a 6-month plan, and you've got a 1-year plan, and you've got a vision, and you see how your compatibility and my compatibility are coming together, and you see that they can work together. And we've got something that's pulling us together outside of how cute we are and how much we emotionally are caught up on one another. And when you have this other thing, then the cute and the emotional stuff is like the icing on the cake. But the core is this business relationship that we've created called a marriage, but this business relationship that we're building to either repopulate the earth with some really, intelligent, capable, life-changing individuals that are going to go out and do what we tell them they need to do because the world is void of what it is that is needed. And also, that we're going to be building for the broader community. And when your commitment is to more than just how you make me feel,
that's right.
Then all of a sudden, it's bigger than that. So now when I select an individual, I'm thinking about, okay, how is this going to affect? One, I got 4 children already. I got 4 children with a mother and and some other connections, and I want to make sure that all these connections are good connections. Not that they're going to be the end all and be all, and that's going to then limit my ability to choose, but I do take that into consideration. I'd like to know that everybody's going to be able to get along. And that we can build together.
Yes,
I just got the response text from my, what most people in the world would say, your ex-wife, but obviously ex didn't work, so it's still wife. She's like, okay, we'll talk later about this money I'm going to lend her. I love it.
It's hard to undo our whole romantic, like the way we've romanticized love, for example. It's really hard to undo because it's something that's shoved in our face from the time we're little, exactly, through the media again. And so we have this whole idea of what love looks like. And I know for myself, I'm challenged to kind of like rethink my approach and my perception of love. But my question, and before we close up too, is what can we do? What can we do to lessen the hostility that we see in relationships? Before we even get to the relationships. And again, I think we touched on one, friendship.
Yes.
Approaching it like a business, talking to, approaching it like we would business. That's one way.
Yeah.
I think honest communication. What I'm finding in the way that we relate to each other is we're not honest.
That's right.
We are not honest. You are not, people are not coming to the table and really being honest about what their expectations are.
Right.
That's a big one. And then down the line, you're like, what?
Right.
You didn't tell me that? You know what I mean? So I think honest communication is another one.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, and I think the friendship thing for me is huge. It's being patient. I think we jump into the whole butterfly effect.
Yes.
That's what I call it, the butterfly effect. You meet somebody and it's a natural endorphins that transpire in the body when two people like each other. We all go through it.
Which goes away.
Goes away.
It's very temporal.
Which goes away. But I think we react on those emotions as opposed to being patient with each other.
Good.
And so, we start making serious lifelong decisions in that space.
Yes.
And then when the butterflies do go away and you see for the first time, I can see clearly now.
Oh my gosh, you always had that big old mole on your head?
Here comes
you're off the high.
Here comes the hostility.
Yes.
Versus being patient.
Right.
Well, I think there are a couple of things that we need to do, and I think one of them is community. We need to have a strong community, and we need to communicate with our community, and we need to communicate what we're doing in our community. So if we get into a relationship, hey, y'all, I'm in a relationship with so-and-so, and I just want to let everybody know, and, we're thankful, just much like a marriage, we're thankful. We want to, I'm having dinner over at my house, and, she's coming, and I want to let everybody know, to come and get to know her, because one, I want you to help us be strong, because we really think we have the
So we
capacity
need to get back
do
to
some
that.
great things.
Yes.
So if you have that community support, then all of a sudden now all your friends are going to know, hey man, you know what you doing?
Yeah.
You tripping? You over there texting so and so. So now you've got that going on. But I think there's another relationship that we have to resolve, and
Help
that's
with
our
being
relationship with
responsible.
ourselves.
Yes.
So one of, when I get into relationships, I'll share with somebody the fact that I'm already married. Now, let me explain, because that sounds like a turnoff, right? But I'm already married
Yes.
to my vision. I'm married to my vision. And that's my first wife. And my first wife is going to be with me wherever I go. So there are things that I won't do because I ain't about to violate my relationship with my first wife. Now, that depends on how committed an individual is to their vision. If they're not that committed, then they'll step out on that wife too. That ain't no big deal. But when you have somebody that's really committed to a vision and they're really about, maintaining that relationship and building upon that relationship, then you can see how you can attach yourself or become a part of an integral part of what it is that they're doing, or they can become an integral part of what you're doing, however you see it, and you all can build.
Yeah.
But again, that has to do with where and does a person have a vision? And where are your compatibilities and incompatibilities? And are they significant enough to warrant you saying, hold up, wait a minute, this ain't gonna work?
Yep.
Right.
Or are they strong enough to make you say, you know what, yeah, this is a good thing. We're gonna work this out.
That's
and
honesty.
we have to, in this community concept, I can't be in relationships with male individuals. I can't have friends, let me say it that way. I can't have friends that are players and expect that they're not going to influence me to want to be a player.
That's right.
I can't have people that I'm
right.
associating with that are going to pull me away from the
It's a
very
real-
thing that I'm
it's a
trying
real
to build.
thing.
So
Even
all
females.
all your close friends,
Even females.
got
Yeah.
secret lovers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they bragging and boasting and beating their
Yes.
chest about, yeah, I put it down.
Yep.
Oh, with your
Yep.
wife? No, shorty.
Yep.
That other chick, the one you just met that day. Yeah. Well, that ain't going to be good for me. And likewise,
Right.
that I would suggest that with women.
Yeah.
Maybe married women don't need to have relationships with single women who are out there playing the field. It might not be a good influence. So when you start building that community around the relationship, now the community is a stakeholder.
Right.
They're a stakeholder in your success, and they're
Right.
going to look at this example, and their children are going to be able to look at this example and say, oh, I want to be like that. And that's one thing that we've seen happen, and I'm not advocating the church by any way, stretch. I'm just saying that there's something good inside of that coming together, in that community. When you
Yeah.
find a community of people that wrap their arms around you and
The
protect you,
community, yeah.
and you can call and can come and help and see, something ain't right with y'all. Y'all need to
Support.
come over for dinner, and we want to have a conversation, so that we can, nothing more than just have a conversation, because we love y'all and we want to, have y'all over. But you know what the deal is. Trouble's in the house. So we want to bring y'all over because we want to get that out the way so y'all can go forward, because y'all got those 3 babies, and we ain't about to see them get raised by one parent.
That's the community versus being an individual
Yep.
in this society.
But that's the vision, and I'm with you, Dr. Baruch, on that. As someone that co-parents, I'm co-parent with my son's father. I'm very big on that. Anyone that I talk to has to know the relationship I have with that man.
Yep.
There's a level of respect, and there's a level of commitment there. The commitment is us co-parenting this child, and what the vision is we have for this child. So when I meet someone, let's say out of state, and they're adamant on, oh, you're gonna have to move, and I have to say, not really. Because my son's relationship with his father is a valuable one to me. In fact, he's a daddy's boy.
Good teaching.
So I need you to understand that, because that's about vision again.
teaching.
That's right.
That's about vision. And
That's
then
right.
you now need to decide.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's it.
The bigger picture. Well, family, that is our Empower Hour. I hope you enjoyed this week's discussion on hostility in our relationship. If you heard something in the discussion that you thought was poignant and you want others to hear it too, please share. Please share this information with others. Our goal here is to get the word out so we can hash some of these things out and we can move forward in a stronger place, in
Thank
a
you for having
community.
me on.
Yes, and Dr. Baruch.
Anytime. We appreciate Dr. Baruch.
Yes.
Great.
And next week we'll be right here, right back with you. Same time, same place, different topic. Take care.
All righty.
Peace.
We could finish.